Hey guys, Chance Williams here. So, on this episode of Chance Shop Talk, we're going to give some information out on the particular codes that you guys see daily, P0420 and P0430. Typically, you'll have a P0420 on a four-cylinder engine and a P0430 on a V6 or either a V8 engine. So today I want to get started on talking a little bit about what's going on in my life right now. So about 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm giving this information out for you older guys out there, and even you younger guys, to take better care of your skin. And the reason I say that is I got bit by a spider right here around my neck area several years ago, and it festered up pretty bad. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you got bit and turned to staph, and then they had to clean the crap out. It was really nasty. So they said it was okay. Well, here recently, within the last few months, I had these two little spots keep coming up, and they never would get well unless I just, took care of them and put some Band-Aid and Neosporin on them. Then it get better, and then it start pulsy looking again. I was like, well, did I get bit again? Well, come on, guys. I didn't get bit again. I'll tell you what happened. I went to a dermatologist, and a lot of you guys probably been seeing these spots on my side of my face. So I decided to go get a skin check. Well, she actually hit these things right here on the side of my face with something similar to Freon. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but anyway, they got pretty nasty looking, and then they started clearing up, which is good. My overall skin's in good condition, except for these two little spots right here turn out to be cancer. I'm having to wear, SPF 30. So she says anybody over, even young people should start wearing, skin care, such as an SPS 30 or more. Don't put no 20 on there. So yes, I have skin cancer, and I just found out today, they called and said, yes, it is skin cancer, and it is treatable. It is not the deadly kind, but I've been, talking to a few folks that actually has some of that stuff. I said, oh, they'll just burn it off and whatever. But I got to have surgery on these two spots, and they're not quite sure if it's done got into my, my bones or anything. I don't think they have. The bones and all feel fine. They're not like sore or anything like that. But anyway, I just want to give you guys a heads up that I probably won't be on, in a few weeks, because I do have to have surgery. Actually, two surgeries. She can't do both of them at once. She's got to do one at a time, which is fine with me. But I just want to give you guys a heads up. Please take care of your skin, because like I said, and the reason I started this video, or excuse me, this group, is for everybody to get together and share your knowledge. I'm sharing some knowledge with you. Wear SPF 30 when you're out in the weather. Now, I've always taken care of everybody else, never got a chance to take care of myself. For several years there, I did a pretty good job of taking care of myself. I'm actually the heaviest I've ever been. Because I got really gun shy about in 2017 when I had my second back surgery, not to do anything I wasn't supposed to. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Fixing to try to start getting back in the routine. I know I've had a really hard time at work with, getting help, and my help's had surgery, and I've been waiting on him to get back, and hopefully things will turn around here in the near future. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about doing some things here about P0420 P0430. So a lot of you guys are probably seeing these codes, going to hooking your scanner up, and next thing you know, you're going, yep, needs a converter. Well, a lot of you guys are probably replacing converters that, yes, it's probably needed, but what are you going to do when it turns around and comes right back in the shop and you still have the same particular trouble codes? Are you doing your job properly? I don't know about in your guys' shop, but I think in the long run, if you do some of the things that I'm fixing to teach you here, it'll keep you out of hot water, and it'll keep your employer out of hot water. Now, for you guys that are hanging around in here that are business owners, wonderful. I'm glad you're here. And if you're a business owner, not a tech, or a tech and a business owner, which most of the group is tech/business owners, and you're having a hard time across the country too. I've been listening to a lot of you guys out there about employees and staffing having issues with it, whether it be the front counter, the back office, or the shop itself. So I wish we had a better answer for you to get around with that, other than the only thing I can tell you to do on that is just keep nailing down, advertising, keep nailing down leads, start looking for people and trying to get them in there and get them replaced. But anyway, so there's really three different causes for converter failure. There's overheated and melted or either broken structure converters. You know, the broken structure type of converter, when it comes in a road from a road rage incidents, guy runs over, not road rage incidents, you know what I mean. The guy just sees a rock in the road and runs over it and knocks the crap out of the converter, breaks it. That's a pretty easy fix. Get it in, replace converter, send it out the door. I'm not sure about you guys anymore, but I don't too much do welding converters. I like to do the replacement converters as a whole. I typically get a 5-year warranty on it. I pass that 5 years on warranty to the customer. That way, if they have a problem with it within 5 years, and hopefully if I do my job right and diagnose it properly, and we service the car as needed and keep an eye on everything, they'll probably get, you know, the same age life out of the replacement converter, possibly. Not always, but possibly. But they're building a lot of crappy stuff out there lately from what I'm looking at. If you'll actually compare an OE converter to the aftermarket converter, it's like sheet metal stamped steel, the smallest gauge they can find. But anyway, that's what we're having to deal with. And the other thing is, a lot of you guys that are on ProVantage warranty, where, you know, you go and give the customer I think it's a 2-year, 24,000 mile parts and labor warranty. You can do what you want to. I've been running into a lot of problems with a lot of parts that are just junk, and they're lasting a little over a year, and I'm having to warranty the parts and the labor. And you guys in the shops out there that are running these places are turning your claims in, and you're getting a credit. Yes, it seems to me it all works out in the wash when you do something like that, but it really aggravates me because I don't have the green stuff coming in to disperse it the way I want to. It's like they're controlling it, they're dispersing it to me in a credit form, and I don't like that. So I will give you a little tip of what I've done. Here's what I've done. When I'm still on the ProVantage, I give a 24-month, 24,000 mile parts and labor warranty. Now, you guys know that the warranty across the board is usually lifetime on most everything you buy. You don't have to extend that to the customer, but if they are a lifelong customer and they come in 3 years, you have the option of telling that customer, hey, I'm gonna warranty these parts for you, but you've got to pay the labor. So what I've been doing here lately is strictly on my invoices. You got a 24-month, 24,000 mile parts warranty, and you have a 12-month warranty on labor. That way it keeps your ass out of the wash. I don't mind warrantying anything, but it really gets stupid when you're having multiple failures on parts that are just really chewing your shop and your productive time up. We've got to do something to control it. So this is kind of what I've been watching, seeing a trend. A little over a year, I'm having to warranty stuff. That way, at least I can get my labor for it. I'll be more than happy to warranty the parts for you, Mr. Miss Customer. They are usually more than grateful to do so. That way, they're only paying part of the cost. Now, I highly suggest you do that to take care of the customer. Now, what I want to talk about today is definitely about these converters and stuff and how you are actually diagnosing them and if you are doing your job properly. That's fine. A lot of people have their mindset where they're go and plug a scanner up, look at a code, write it up as a converter failure and send it on. And the next thing you know, you got a 50-50 shot of it returning back into your service bay for the same problem. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about is what they call now a reverse exhaust leak, where it's basically you got extremely tiny small leaks in between the up and the downstream O2 sensor that you're getting. You can't see, you can't hear, you don't see any evidence of it, but it's there and it's actually leaking. And people are replacing converters for this and not having a good result with it because they end up having a converter failure come back. Now, I will tell you, I had a Nissan not too long ago that really baffled me. My downstream, I will start off with my fuel trims is what I typically started off with. They were a little abnormally high, which was telling me I had some form of air intrusion. So I got to looking around the vehicle, and sure enough, I had a boot that was torn, just small holes in it, and I didn't find it until I did a smoke test on it. Well, once I got, now this had a 430 code in it for left bank oxygen sensor, and left bank converter. And so I'm looking at my graphs on after I did the repair, and I got my fuel trims back in check. I was looking at my downstream O2 sensor, and it was kind of just a little touchy, just a little bit touchy. And it was just like the dang Kia about 3 days before that I had a voltage of 1/10 of a volt off on a rear speed sensor that caused it to trip that code because I've had a failed, rear speed sensor. But it was just looking at the graph. I was like, well, this thing will live. Man, she ain't got to spend a whole lot of money right now. Good friend of mine, good customer of ours. And so I said, you know what? I don't want to spend your money right now. I really just want you to drive it. And on Nissans, you can actually do an in-bay test where you can actually get the monitor to light off and see if it's a pass or fail, set it in the service bay. So I did that. I didn't do it once. I didn't do it twice. I did it 3 times, and it passed every time. But sure enough, 2 days later, after she done gotten and driven it, the check engine light came back on for P0430. I start with my diagnosis again, and everything looked just normal. So then I got to looking at the converter, and then every once in a while, I would say every 30 seconds, it would just act stupid. My downstream O2 sensor. I said, okay, well, I guess it just don't like it. It's very, very, very sensitive to that. So I put a converter on there. I called her. She's been gone a month. She's very happy. The truck is very well taken care of. And she tries to take care of it because she don't want to be out car shopping in this market nowadays. But anyway, when you're looking at overheated, melted, or broken substance converters, the broken ones, not piece of cake. Put it in there. But what about the melted ones? What about the overheated ones? How are you guys actually doing your job on looking into what it takes to actually start from front to back to make sure that the converter has failed? Is it failed on account of old age? Or is it failing because there's a problem upstream of the O2 sensors, bars of computer and the wiring and such? So why do we have computers in cars? And I'll tell you why we have computers in cars. Not only just to control this and control that, but it's really mainly there to protect the converter. All emissions. That's the reason we have processors in cars, is because of our Clean Air Act, our pollution standards, and all of that. We have to control this stuff. So I'm kind of thankful in a way for the government wanting to step their foot in there in the Clean Air Act. But at the same time, I also think they really take it overboard. Yeah, I really do. One man told me, said, they're doing a really good job here. You go over to I think it's Japan, and you're walking down the streets, you can literally cut the smog with a knife, at certain times of the day. Well, then I got to doing a little research into that, and they actually, if I'm not mistaken, make them turn their cars in and get rid of them every 50,000 miles. That's the reason they have some of them places where you can buy those late model Japanese engines and stuff that comes out of those cars over there have 50,000 miles less. It's because they are required by law and by their country to get rid of their cars because of their pollution standards. But anyway, all right. So anyway, let's look at this computer. This one right here. This is basically just a computer, not a computer, but a picture of this exhaust converter right here. Let's go to the next one. I think I may have started figuring out how to use this a little bit. So hopefully y'all can see that screen real well. So let's see if I can find another one here. Now, we'll tell you these feed gases really have to be in a really narrow, in other words, the exhaust gases coming out of the converters have to be really narrow. They expressed in lambda. So you can actually get, converter poisoning or what have you. Let's see if I can find the other converter here. Let's see, that one, no, that one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one right here. Let's see if y'all can see that one right there, I hope. Let me get back over here to this other screen. So I'm still trying to really get used to this share screen thing. It's really kind of a little difficult the way they want you to do it, but it is what it is. I have to do the way they have it. They don't have it set up very well, as far as I'm concerned. Where's that one? That's not it. I thought I've been playing with this for probably an hour today, and I really ain't had a lot of time to spend on it. But as you can see, your converter and the way it's made, it's got its band on the outside and all the honeycomb and the good stuff in the middle there to actually protect to exchange the gases out to make it basically breathable, I guess you would say. So let me see if I can find this other one here. Where are you at, big boy? And see, let me hide that thing right there. They put little things in here where it's advertised, and it just drives me crazy. See if y'all can see this one right here. Let's see, stop screen sharing and then share again. We're gonna go. This is probably gonna take a lot longer than I wanted to take because of the way I'm having to do this, guys. Bear with me. All right, this one right here. Windows, here we go. Nope, not that one. This one right here. There we go. All right, so we got the converter here. As you guys can see, the exhaust gases pretty much come in. You got a stainless steel converter body. You got the position of the oxygen sensor plug, if you want to call it that. You got the heat shield. Then you start getting into the goody stuff. The reduction of catalyst to eliminate the NOx. Then you get to the cerium and the I can't read today. Ceramic honeycomb catalyst structures. Then you start getting into the major reaction. Then you get to converter active material. Then you get into oxidation of the catalyst. You can read all about this if you want to pull it up and look. Then out the tailpipe it goes as H2O and carbon dioxide and nitrogen. So that's how it basically pretty much cleans the exhaust gases down, going out the exhaust. And that's pretty cool. But that's just pretty much how the converter functions. The other thing that I want to show you guys, if I can get this thing up in here, is some of the things that we can use to actually start looking at how to. One of the very first things I really think you guys really should do because I know what you're going to do. You're going to grab the first thing that comes to mind, and you're going to go and grab your scanner. And when you grab your scanner, you're going to go up there and you're going to start looking for codes. And then you're going to say, okay, that's what we got. We just need a converter. Let's not do that. Let's look at our fuel trims, guys. If you start looking at your fuel trims, really, my rule of thumb is I like as close to near zero as possible. But you know damn good and well when you start getting to high mileage engines, wear on the rings, pistons, valve guides and stuff like that, you do get a little bit higher fuel trim values. Dirty mass airflow sensors, map sensors that are not accurate, intake leaks, exhaust leaks, engine oil leaks, all this stuff contributes to factors of having. And I'll tell you another thing. A lot of you guys, if you'll look, sometimes if you get an engine that's been running bad for a long time, not super long, but a pretty good long time, and it's been fueling a lot, and you think you got everything, say for instance, you run into a very rich condition, fuel pressure regulator was ruptured, kept dumping excessive amount of fuel, it got past the rings, it eventually got into the oil, it started causing an oil issue. Now, when it starts pulling all that the gases back up through the system on the PCV side, or positive crankcase ventilation side, and circulating this stuff, those gases are actually going to end up back into the engine, and it's going to cause your fuel trims to go stupid. So if you're working on something that you got a 20% negative condition where you're dumping a lot of fuel, and then all of a sudden you got it cleared up, but you're still in the 9 to 10, 11% range, I highly advise you going to change the oil in that thing, and that'll probably help you out a lot and bring it down. A lot of people overlook oil as a factor in that, but it actually can happen. I've been there and done that. All right, so look at your fuel trim, guys. Make sure that your fuel trims are within the plus or minus. They say plus or minus 10. There's even other sharper technicians out there that like it even like from 7% or less. Me personally, I like it 1 to 2%, even on older cars that run, OBD2 emissions and stuff like that. I still like to see them as low as I can get them. You can't never get a perfect fuel trim on older cars, but you can dadgum near try. So that's pretty much what I'm saying there. Now, that's one of the things I think you guys should really look at when you're dealing with converters. When you hook your scanner up and when you're sitting there looking at the codes, jump over into your fuel trims, look at those and see how they're going. Long-term, short-term. I really don't give a rat's tail about short-term. Short-term is just like a trigger. It just keeps constantly moving in order to correct for your fuel consumption, however you're doing the throttle, sitting there wide open, whatever. Long-term is what I really like to see, minus 10%. Matt, that is still standard, but I still like to see it way below 10%. If I'm not mistaken, some monitors won't trip until it's over 13 to 15%. I think Ford's 17. They get away with it, and it's not if it's a constant. But if it's down, then of course, if you have higher fuel trims at idle, and you sitting there and you tap 2,500 RPMs on your throttle and just hold it there, and you all of a sudden it comes down and you got really good fuel trims, and then guess what? Then you more likely have a vacuum leak. So that's one of the things I think you guys should look at pretty close when you're dealing with fuel trims and converters. Is one of the things I think you look at. Now, a lot of you guys out there don't have all the tools that you need absolutely in your arsenal, but I will say that it's okay. You can still do a pretty decent job by, delivering on a good customer satisfaction with all the tools that you do have. Now, I'm going to show you another thing that I like to do. You get into misfires. So misfires can start causing a lot of havoc on your system too. It can actually damage O2 sensors, damage your converters. But oxygen sensors, also lazy, can trigger P0420 and P0430. So I highly recommend. So they're doing something. I think it's called it's oxygen pump now. They're not using just the downstream oxygen sensors and watching it as it goes. They're basically wanting you to pump enough oxygen into that system. When that oxygen sensor jumps, goes down, whatever it is, the condition you're doing, you should count to I think 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005. By the time you get to 1,005, the oxygen sensor should rebound very quickly. If it does not, then more than likely you got a lazy oxygen sensor, and you could be having an issue with an O2 sensor versus an actual converter issue. So you might want to definitely look into that. All right, let me share my screen and let me find this next thing I like to do. And I'm going to give y'all a pretty goddamn neat little trick here just shortly that y'all are going to be blown away by. And I'm going to put it towards the end because I really want you guys to listen to all of it. It's a hell of a trick. Y'all going to be like, wow, some of you guys may already be using it. Some of you guys may already not be using it. But either way it goes, we're going to show you this one right here. So what's another thing that actually causes, yeah, I know he's having a hard day there, isn't he, guys? So what's happening with not only just converter failure and you thinking so. So if the car comes into the shop and you've never seen this car, or you have been seeing this car and you were off for a week on vacation and your customer had an issue with the car overheating later on, and before you got back to work, then he brings it in for service and never said anything to you. You do the service, check engine lights on, and you notice there's a 420 code, and you go, well, heck, this code wasn't there before, right? All right, so you get into one of the damages of killing a converter is water intrusion from cylinder head gaskets, cars overheating. That's one of them. That's another one of them. So you can get into some serious situations with systems that intrude water into the exhaust system, ends up eventually killing them. I think if you take an oxygen sensor out and it is white or hashed, that's a daggum good sign and indication of water or intrusion coming from the engine itself, engine coolant. So if you get into one of those situations right there, I highly recommend that you inspect it a lot quicker. Pressure test cooling system, leave it on there several hours. Excuse me. Check that the engine oil, see if it's mixing with engine oil and water, but typically that would be going into the cylinder, out the exhaust, and hitting the O2 sensor and turning it to a white hash, right? All right. So that's one. So let's get to another one. Let's see. Where you at here, boys? All right, let's see. All right, another one of my favorites is, well, I'll go ahead and show you guys this picture right here too. Stop sharing. Share. Windows. Structural damage, just like I told you guys, this is one of the easiest ones. Converter gets about half knocked off. I think the converter's about half knocked off on this, and I can't really tell. It's supposed to be. I picked this picture up earlier today. But yeah, that's the easy ones to do. That's the gravy. That's the gravy money. Unless what? There's a problem with it already and you're not checking it out. So I highly recommend you check your fuel trim, make sure the car is not misfiring, you don't have any stored trouble codes. Look under global, look under monitors, and look around in there and make sure that all the monitors that have run in the past and the codes have not been cleared and not fixing to lead you on a bunny rabbit chase. Just want to give you that little bit of information right there too. All right, so let's look at, come on now. These little ad things they put up here just aggravate me to death. All right, so what's another failure? Come on, where you at? All right, I'll show you this since we're talking about it. Here's a good converter. A lot of you guys are wondering about, what are you talking about? How to check a converter with a oxygen sensor. All right, so I'll show you a good one and I'll show you a bad one. Okay. Share screen, Windows. Here we go, right here. All right, so check it out. There you go. That's pretty much typically a pretty decent converter. Apparently the car was just started up. It started warming up. And then all of a sudden the converter, the oxygen sensor started working like it's supposed to. That's the upstream. Then the downstream, you should pretty much have a steady voltage on the lower O2 sensor. If it is, then more than likely you're fine. Now, this is just this car right here, to me, in this picture, looks like it really just started up. It really wasn't going like it's supposed to. The car hadn't been running long enough to really be accurate about this. But I do believe if you let this car run a while, more than likely, and that looks to me like the IDS, Ford IDS, which is not the very best graft out there either. But basically, this is just you don't want the two to mirror image one another. I'll show you a picture of that. If they do mirror image one another, then you definitely have an issue with the converter itself. But what if you have, say for instance, a graph that kind of looks like this, and you're looking at it, and you're like, well, I don't see nothing wrong with this converter. I just don't. Okay, that's where you start getting into the air pumping thing, where you got to start looking into the oxygen sensors that may be setting a false 420 or 430 trouble code. All right, so let me get back over here to this one, see if I can find the other one. All right, here's the other one right here. We'll size this to fit. We'll share. See, I'm getting better at this, guys. Y'all just bear with me. Share screen. All right, here's a good one. Here's not a good converter. Not a good converter. That's where you start going, uh-oh. Then you got to start doing your work and make sure that you do have an actual faulty converter. So this is pretty much at 100% switch ratio. You do not want both of them switching at the same rate. You definitely have a problem with the converter not cleaning up like it's supposed to. Now, these are some of the little easy tools that you can use your scanner to start looking into this. Fuel trims, making sure they're where they're supposed to. Looking, if it doesn't show any misfires, especially if you have a Ford, go under global. Look under the monitors. Actually, it's I forgot what it is, but it's mode 6. There it is, mode 6, test 53, I think. Look at all your cylinders if you have any cylinder misfires and stuff like that. Just because this graph is changing like this does not necessarily mean that it's a bad converter. You could have a poorly running engine, and it's actually causing an issue upstream of the converter and not actually causing an issue, with the oxygen sensor itself. So that's when the work begins, is when you see something like this. You have to rule out everything else on the car, guys. All right, so let me see if I can find this next one that I want to share with you. Which one is that? Nope, that's the same one. Okay, here's something that I think y'all might find interesting, and a lot of you guys have seen this before, and you probably really never paid it no attention, but it's a good customer informing good way to inform the customer of something that may be fixing to happen if it has not already happened. Share screen. Share screen. This little booger right here. Can y'all look at that and tell me what that is? Okay, that's the sign of a converter overheating. Engine coolant, engine oil entering into this converter can cause this thing running lean, running too much fuel. It's actually overheating this converter right here. So that converter is on its way out the door. So you got some engine issues that you need to deal with. You need to figure out what it is. All righty. Now let's go to the next one. Stop sharing. Go down here. Fine. That's down there. All right, I'm going to show you this picture right here of pretty much how the zoom to fit. Holy crap, what I did? I don't know what I did. I don't know what I just did. I just did something there. By God. I hit a button and I just had 50 screens pop up on me. Don't know how that happened. All right, so, and it did show up, but it's got to be fixed. Let me fix it, guys. Hang on. Because if I don't fix it, you're not going to be able to see it very well. Zoom to fit. Close this and zoom to fit. I'm going to get me somebody to work this stuff one of these days. We're going to share this right here. All right, so here's the flow of the converter itself. Of course, you see where the gases go in. As it go in, it actually gets cooler. Now, most of these converters are designed to run between 400 and 500 degrees, but they will get up to 1600 RPM, 1600 degrees, but that's way too hot for these converters. So you can pretty much see this kind of like a thermal imaging. So I do have some thermal imaging pictures that I actually do have a thermal imaging gun. I use it quite frequently. I actually use it for checking exhaust, checking for misfires, checking cooling system problems that may be having restrictions or stuff like that, which is really neat. And also even checking for parasitic draws. If you have something that's being left on in a car, it's one of the fastest things you can do to use a thermal imaging gun, which is pretty daggum sweet. All right, so you can see the flow of the gases, how it goes in, and it should be cooler going out. So that's pretty much kind of a mimic of what you should be seeing coming in, going out, but you don't see exactly that unless you have some really fancy equipment. But all right, so let's get to the next one. It's actually going to be a picture of the converter itself on a thermal imaging. Here we go. Get this over here, share screen. And this is a picture of, guess what? An actual converter that is, they're using a thermal imaging. As you can see, this is the tail end of it up here. As the exhaust gases come in, they are extremely hot. And as they start to leave, just like on the breakdown that we just first got started, it starts turning everything into the gases that needs to be done to be taken out the tailpipe. It does actually cool down. So that's a pretty decent functioning converter. Now you will see some converters that are like half cold, half hot. Then it's time to replace them. Or you've got some engine issues that you need to deal with first before replacing the converter. Just make sure you guys do that. All right, let's go to a next one. And so this is one of my favorites right here, if I can find it. That I like to use a lot of in order to check a converter. Now, this isn't 100%, and the reason I say it ain't 100%, I'll explain. Let me share the screen here. Windows. All right, there it is. Borescope. That's actually the same identical one that I have at the shop, which I bought it several years ago through Snap-on. You can actually pull the upstream and downstream O2 sensors out and actually go in and look at these converters to see if they're melted. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've seen very few converters that you can actually see from the top side, looking down in from the front of the converter, going out to the rear, that have actually been melted. It had to have been a really bad day on that converter if it completely melted. The melting typically starts in the center of the converter. And that's the reason you start having a lot of back pressure build up. No power, You know, different types of things. I think I've even had it blow seals out, oil seals out of car because it's not breathing right. But I do like using this right here to actually pull it and inspect it, just to inspect it. And one of the other things that I use to check back pressure, and to check a converter is an actual back pressure gauge. Let's see if I have a picture of the back pressure gauge on this thing. I think I do. Nope. Well, y'all know what a back pressure gauge is, but anyway, if you don't know what a back pressure gauge is, I highly advise you to just Google it and get you one. I like using mine. Now, they tell you under 3 to 5 psi. I don't like that. I've had a car that actually had issues with no power at 5 psi, and I think it's 1 to 3 on your gauge. I like to see it under a psi if I can get it there. But I want to show you this thing right here that I like to do is thermal imaging. Let me share this screen. And this is a pretty neat way of checking some things. Now, I want you to check it out. So what have I got here? I'll tell you what I got. I got a 4-cylinder engine that is cold on the number 2 right here. You can see it's a lot cooler than the other 3 pipes that's coming out of this thing. So I got a problem in this cylinder, whether it be compression, whether it be injectors, whether it be wiring, whether it be ECM, whether it be valve guides, whether it be valves. But I have a mechanical or electrical problem on this cylinder right here, and that can lead to converter damage over a period of time, especially if it's not a smart car that shuts the fuel off or shuts the ignition off, that the fuel is running to the cylinder. So if y'all guys get a car coming in there that probably doesn't appear to be misfiring, which you can drive those cars that you think have a rough idle or a tiny bit of a rough idle and actually can be misfiring. And you throw a converter on there and you get it out there, send it down the road. Next thing you know, it's come back in 30 days with the same problem. And this was probably your issue to start with because you didn't look at your fuel trims. You didn't inspect the car over. You just didn't look at it. Fuel trims is going to tell you how that thing is breathing is pretty much what I'm telling you. Misfires, look and see if you miss. If you're misfiring, your fuel trims are going to be off, right? It's simple logic. I mean, that's everything the oxygen sensors is reporting to the processor to say, hey, you're not protecting me here. I'm screwed. What's wrong with you up there? Hello? You know, kind of like your wife and you when you get in an argument, or your husband and you when you get in an argument. Hello? Wake up. All right. So that's one of my other favorite tools to use is a thermal imaging gun. All right. So let's move on. Let's see what else I got in this bag of arsenal tricks that I have here. Here is a fully functioning automobile running with no misfires right here. You got a good red heat all the way across. So that's a really good indication that all your cylinders are doing what it's supposed to. The injectors are doing what it's supposed to. The fuel system apparently is doing what it's supposed to. You don't see any cold spots. So thermal imaging gun, guys, is a really, really, really expensive tool, but at the same time, I love the mess out of it. It saves you a lot of time. I don't know what you guys get paid for in the shop, but there should be a minimum of 3 hours spent on a car so you don't feel like you're rushed. So I highly suggest you going in Monday morning talking to your boss and say, hey, you know, there's shops across the country getting a minimum of 3 hours on these cars. I just hate rushing these things in and out like this, and then I'm having comebacks and I'm having to spend my time off to straighten these cars out. I don't want to do it no more. So you need to talk to your customer and say, hey, we got a $350 minimum before we do anything to your car if it's got anything to do with drivability, period. Okay? You need to have that as a minimum shop charge, $350. Come to Georgia, they're doing it. They're doing it left and right, left and right, left and right. You just need to do it. That way, your technicians out there will not feel crushed and rushed to come to a bad judgment just to get the car out of there, just to please you, just so you can put money in the bank. It's bullshit. Stop it. All right, so let's go to the next one. Y'all gonna get me riled up because I hate being too fast on something. The customer won't give me time on the car. They can take the damn thing down the road, as far as I'm concerned. Hey, look at what I found. I'll show you guys what I found here. Share screen, share screen. See, I told you I find it. It just took me a minute. There you go. I have something similar to that, but mine has several other pieces with it. And it's an exhaust back pressure gauge. You don't necessarily have to have this. You can actually use a freaking vacuum gauge. And I am going to be doing a class on vacuum gauges soon. I did a little short one. Or did I? I can't remember. I've done so damn many videos, I'm not sure exactly. But I did do, you can use just a simple vacuum gauge to actually tell the integrity of an engine. You can. And a lot of you old school guys throw that damn thing in your toolbox and you just say, screw it. Then when the scopes come out, you refuse to buy them. I highly recommend you buy a scope. It'll save you a lot of time. You don't have to buy the most expensive one out there. Just buy one that is usable, has a decent name, that is reliable. Don't buy the damn Snap on the Pico and stuff like that. Those things are super expensive. Although I always wanted a Pico scope, and they just really extremely good stuff for the Pico size. So do your back pressure test on your converters, guys. But first, before you even get to this point, what should you do? Fuel trims, even after checking codes. Okay. All right. So let's stop screen sharing. I'm fixing to get to something else I want to tell you guys about that's near and dear to my heart. Hell, automotive period is near and dear to my heart. This is something I'm going to tell you to do that you guys don't do. I don't care if you don't do it. I'm telling you to do it. You don't have to do it. You can do whatever you want to do. But I'm just here to try to inform you. And I hope you take note of it. That'd be good. So we're going to share this right here. What is that? Boom. It's not a trouble tree. It's a network tree. All right. It's got all your controllers in it. You guys that are going on out there that are grabbing engine, pulling codes, what's wrong with you? Y'all take a safe, if you want to call it a health check, whatever you want to call it, scan the whole complete car. Your scanner will hold those codes in there. Well, I know my Autel will hold it unless I erase it. Then I think it erases everything. That kind of stinks. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Take a snapshot of all the codes that are stored inside the processors and everything. Not only are you doing your job properly, but if you run into a situation that the customer decides after you've done sold a job and you go, Mr. Customer, yes, you're going to have a left rear ABS wheel speed sensor. And it's going to be this amount of money, and this is what it's going to cost to get you in and out of here, and then you'll be done. Oh, by the way, my window's been acting up. Can you check into that? Why, yes, ma'am. We sure can. Matter of fact, I was going to get to that. We're having a problem. We've seen some problems where it lost some communication with the driver's door module. You know, it's a possibility you could have some broken wires in that door jamb in there. We definitely can take care of that for you. There's you some upsell. What is wrong with you guys? Use your freaking brains. Come on. Don't care how busy you are. People say pack your shops. I don't believe in packing the shops. I believe in getting your average RO count up and slowing the car count down. Everybody will be happy in the long run. Your technicians won't be slapped, beat to hell and back. And I'm just aggravated with that whole. I'll talk about that in another class. I don't want to get started about it right now. But anyway, we're going to stop that right there, and we're going to go to. Let's see what else I got in this thing here. Yeah, I like that part. What was that? Ooh, what was that? What is that? Keep running across something that just keeps moving on me, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on there. All right, so here's another little tool, another little tool trick. I do not personally own this, but I am seriously considering getting one because it's coming back. I used to use one when I was growing up in this business. I probably forgot everything that I was supposed to learn about it, but this is one of the best tools I think anybody could probably ever get. Y'all can see that that's a 4-gas analyzer or a gas analyzer. It ain't a 4-gas analyzer. It's an analyzer, exhaust gas analyzer. So you can get into some situations where this thing right here will save you a lot of money in the long run. Give me just a second, guys. So if you have let me get over here to my notes because like I told you, I don't remember. Actually, I think that's a 5-gas analyzer right there. When you're using it, keep in mind that high HC emissions is pretty much unburned fuel. Now, a high CO is partially burned fuel or oil. So you can get into a situation where a car's burning a lot of oil. Well, high NOx is high combustion temperatures, caused by timing and such as that. Or lean air fuel mixtures, excessively advanced ignition timing and stuff like that can cause those types of issues. Now, those gas analyzers will tell the tale whatever's coming out of that tailpipe, and it'll definitely help you out a lot in the long run. And it'll actually help you diagnose a car a lot quicker. I don't know what these things go for, but they're probably just like everything else, through the roof expensive. So that's another little trick. And let me see what else I got in here. That's going down. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. See what else. Here we go. I'm gonna show y'all good. He ain't a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine on YouTube. Oh, let's stop sharing screen here, and then let me get it back up here. I know you guys. Y'all know Scotty. He'll tell you real quick. Hey, he screams it. Burning oil. Scotty's he's definitely a YouTube wizard. Let me tell you. Now we're getting back into the converters themselves that are. Hopefully y'all can hear me when I take this off. Y'all get into these engines using oil consumption and stuff. Do y'all think that'll kill a converter? Oh, absolutely. So there's a lot to do. 3.6 Buicks is the Enclaves and those crappy little engines. They had a problem with them sucking oil back up into the air boot. When y'all doing services, if y'all actually I hate taking those air boxes out. I despise it. I'd rather take a beating with a whip. Those boxes stuffed down in there just that was the stupidest design I ever seen in my life. But anyway, you have to take them off, check the air filter. When you do, you pull the boot out and usually full of oil. General Motors actually put out a bulletin on replacing the back valve cover, I think, and doing some other parts replacement, which I did on a few of them, and I got to keep an eye on them for about a little over a year and one for over 2 years, and it actually did fix the oil consumption problem on that vehicle, which I'm very proud of. So I'm glad, General Motors, you're right, because I'd hate to say, well, I was going by what General Motors told me to do. A lot of times on the PVC systems on, say, the Chevrolets, I know you guys, I actually had one in not too long ago, the 5.3. We put an engine in it, and about 6 months later, the guy comes back, and I swear to you, it was like a crop duster with smoke coming out of the back of this thing. It was a Jasper engine. I was like, whoa, I think I know what's wrong with that thing, which I should have replaced the valve cover, and I didn't. The baffle bust in there. So you can actually take a clear plastic hose in placement of the PCV hose, drive it. If you get oil being drawn up in there, then you got a busted valve cover, right? So then you're killing everything on that truck. I think he's had that truck for his whole life, and then I've been servicing it for the last 10 plus years, and I have yet to put a converter on that truck yet, but I'm pretty sure that the day is coming for that. But anyway, so make sure that you don't have any oil consumption issues. You might want to ask your customer, hey, give us some information about the vehicle, especially if you don't know, or even if you think you do know, you need to talk to the customer just to make sure. All right, let's see what else I got in a little bag of tricks here. I'm gonna get to that one last. That'll be the last exit. I got to go to work here. I got to get me a Ford running. I need to get done. I ain't had time to get it done, but I'm gonna spend the rest of the day on that thing, getting it done. Okay, here comes the cool part that I told y'all about that I was gonna tell y'all. And y'all can believe me or not, but this is the truth. All right, let me find it here. Share screen. Okay, when I tell y'all this, y'all gonna be like, bullshit. I don't care. Y'all say bullshit all you want to. Try it. It'll work. All right, so another way to check, and I really highly suggest, I haven't done it. I do try to practice. I do my very best to practice what I preach. But honestly, I always think about this in the back of my head, but I always just look and I go, yeah, hell, that's good. But I haven't had one come in and whoop my ass yet. And it will. I know it will. So I need to start doing it. These new model cars, when they're building all this exhaust system and stuff, they're building it out of shit. Excuse my French. But they're building exhaust systems that are really not holding up, as far as I'm concerned. They're just not building the stuff like they're supposed to. So back to what I was telling you about reverse exhaust leaks, pinholes and stuff like that you can't find. Fixing to show you how to find them. No, it ain't a smoke machine. So a smoke machine would be nice, but I can't. My smoke machine, if you put it on the tailpipe of that thing, you go take you a nap because it ain't gonna make it up there. I mean, it just ain't. It puts out 1 or 2 psi, and the exhaust system's so full. And then when you get it up there, if you have any kind of leak or anything, you're not getting any back pressure, so it's really not filling the system up. But I'm fixing to show you what to do. You ain't gonna believe this. See if I can pull this up here. Take your shop vac. Reverse the hose to where the air is blowing out. Stick it into the tailpipe of your car. Once you do that, tape that sucker off with duct tape so it don't leak, or find some way to seal the end of it with your hose stuck into your tailpipe. Once you take your shop vac and you get that done, then you're going to do this right here. Let me see if I can stop sharing my screen, see if I can find it. It should be in here. Oh, come on now. Stop. That. What is that? Heck, it ain't even showing that. It ain't even showing that. Maybe me. All right, let me find it. I don't even know if I even have a picture of it in here. If I don't, I will find it. Thought I had taken a picture of it. I was pretty daggone sure of it. I didn't. But let me tell you what you do. I'll tell y'all what y'all do. Y'all give me just a minute. I will hook you up here. Give me 1 second, guys. All righty. We're going to exit out of that right there. We're going to go back over to here. And I could have just told you, but I'm going to show you. I think if I show you a picture, you'll like it better. Oh, come on. Get this up here. Get this up here. Open that up. And zoom this in and keep people intrigued. All right. So share screen. Share screen. Here it is. Soap and water. Soap and water. Shop vac. Tape that sucker off. Seal it up somehow. Turn it on. Make sure you put it in the reverse direction where it's blowing air out. Fill that sucker up and then start walking down through there, spraying it with soap and water. If you find a leak anywhere in between those O2 sensors, you're going to be amazed. You're just going to be amazed. Then you get to cut that crappy piece out, put another crappy piece in because it ain't building nothing like you're supposed to, and then pray that it lasts. But I think that's a really neat way of checking for any type of exhaust leaks, because around the welds on the O2 sensors are not perfect. The little plugs, as they call them. I'll pull that picture up here and see if I can get that in here and show you where these converters can fail. Let's get way up here. And get way up here. Or did I have it already still on there? Did I have it still on there? Let's see. Share screen. Windows. Where's my little buddy at? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just use this picture right here. Okay, so around the welds, and we'll picture this as an oxygen sensor hole in this pipe right here. Around those welds can actually leak small amounts. It'll actually have a tunnel effect in there and actually draw fresh air in. If it gets past if it's on this side, it's actually going to go by the O2 sensor, and it can actually cause misreading. You'll probably see that in your fuel trims. And you could probably correct a lot of stuff like that by using that method of trying to find an exhaust leak, which is pretty damn neat. Y'all shout out to me if y'all like that. I appreciate all you guys watching for sure today. But let me get back to a friend of mine that I like. His name's Pete. I'm not personal friends with him, but anybody that I like to listen to that can teach me the things that I have learned over the years, I'll keep listening. But let me see if I can find the last picture, guys. The last picture. I'm going to try to nail it home here. You're not going to listen to me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Share screen one more time. Share screen. Windows. Here you go. There you go. Using field trends for diagnostics. Please use it. Look, guys, I know you probably thinking, if you're doing this for it professionally as a living, you really need to invest in your tools and equipment. You really need to invest in your knowledge. So another thing that me and Barbara are doing, we're going around to shops that with some of them we're working with, and we're trying to turn their shops around and get them, their technicians to think more like they should be more of a part of the business instead of just working for the business. And the more information that's put out between the front and the back, the more merrier everything is. And I think things can get along better that way. If a technician that is starting new at a job or been there a while seems to get more comfortable because he thinks he can rule the damn shop, is bullshit. You don't own the place. You still work there, but you have a hand in say-so of what things should be done. If you guys out there as technicians have say-so when it comes to how you think certain things should be run in the shop, that would actually make it a lot smoother, a lot easier, less confusion, and better on anybody in the repair facility. I highly advise you to put it in writing, turn it into your front office and say, hey, I think this is a great idea. And I think there should be a meeting called on it and everybody sit around and talk about that, or just improving your idea to make everybody happy at the same time. I do things like that to try to keep people in unison with one another. So if we can ever help you, please, I'll put a link somewhere out here that y'all can book a call with me and Barbara, and we'll be more happy to get together and try to get your shop happier and make you happier. And in the meantime, I will try to do the things that I do to try to keep doing. But, working a full-time job and doing this right here, I spent 3.5 hours just putting this presentation together, and I hope you guys got a lot of insight out of it. Hopefully you did, and hopefully it woke up some memories. Oh, shit, I should do that every time. That car came back because I didn't do that. I should have did that the first time. But anyway, let's go to a couple of messages. Got to get it done. That's right. Put it in the box. Happy to my buddy's mother. She has had it bad. All right. Hey, I wish her the best. I hope she gets out there and gets it well. For sure. You give a 1-year warranty, and for labor, customers pay unless the failure part was caused for the labor. Then I'll be happy to replace it. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, unless you got a total dumbass working for you in the shop, you hardly ever have a labor fault. One time, I'll tell y'all this story. It's God's truth. When I first started off in business, this guy was coming in. I was going to do an engine for him. He says, man, I don't know. You just getting started. I don't know if you're going to be here. I said, man, I've been here and I'll be here. I'll be here in 30 years. And he goes, yeah, whatever. I said, yeah, I will. Do you want us to do the engine or not? Well, what kind of warranty you got? Well, the engine's got a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty on it. And the labor is the whole time. And he goes, oh, okay, then I might do that. Well, what about rebuilding? It was a 1-year warranty. Well, why just a 1-year warranty? I said, because that's all you get, and you just get a build. And he goes, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Something might happen. I said, man, the only thing that's going to happen in that 1 year is you're going to drive it. If anything happens, then I'll take care of it. And I said, I don't think there's no way in hell anything's going to happen to it because we do a good job, and that engine ain't going to fall out on the damn ground. This is the God's truth. Man, that guy came back for his 500-mile service, and my freaking technician didn't bolt up the damn transmission right, and there was a gap between that sucker all the way around. So that damn engine transmission could have fell out. So I learned to keep my mouth shut right there, and I said, yes, if anything happens, we're here to take care of it. I ain't going to say it won't happen because it can damn happen. That was funny. I don't care who you are. That was funny. But yes, my hat's off to you. Definitely 1 year warranty. Give them all the parts warranty that you feel like you want to give them, because you know if you got a good relationship building with your jobbers on any of your uh, places where you buy parts, you know they'll help you out and take care of it. But that's funny. In Europe, we have to turn your vehicles off and stoplights and R&R crossings while the train is running. No kidding. Well, you know, buses, I think buses here have to do that same thing. And of course, we have cars that have start stop on them, and which something that was mandated by the big brother that put out there for the stop and start for the fuel consumption. Actually, I think it was more of a you've got to meet this certain standard by this certain time, and then the manufacturers getting together. Well, while they're sitting there in traffic for 2 hours, we can turn the car off. So, yeah, I get it. Europe's pretty cool, and they lead the way on a lot of things. It's, you know, kind of like California, but California puts out a lot of stupid crap. My cousin actually drives for them, and now he not drives for them, but drives a company truck that he owns as a company, and cannot used to travel in and out of California all the time, but their emission standards has gone freaking crazy, and so he no longer travels into the state of California. So what's funny is though, AOC was on there one day. I don't know why we need trucks. I get my meat from the grocery market. where the heck do you think the grocery market gets it? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Guys, I appreciate you all watching. I'm fixing to head out and go get me a bite to eat and actually go to work for a little while and try to get things done. And I hope you all guys appreciate this little presentation, and I hope it helps you out in the shop. Just remember, recap, your converters fail because they can melt, they overheat, and they have structure damage. Please make sure that you do all your checks on your diagnostics correctly. Now, look, when it comes to mass airflow type systems, like I told you on the Nissan, the boot was loose. It was drawing air in front of the converter. In front of the mass airflow sensor. So that actually brought my fuel trims down, and I was happy with it. And then, like I said, on the converter, on the downstream motor sensor, it kind of calmed down, and I was like, well, that'll be okay. And then 2 days later, the converter light comes back on P0430. So I just replaced the converter, and it fixed it. But it was just very, very, very minute. I didn't realize that their programming, I think if that vehicle had an updated calibration, I don't think it would have ever set that code if they have a calibration out there for that particular problem on their converters and the downstream O2 sensor, seeing that slight variation in that. So make sure that you definitely use your fuel trims to start diagnosing your cars, to look at them and see. The more you use it, the better you'll get at it. I'm going to try to get into some electrical stuff soon. I've got some stuff to build to start showing you voltage drop tests and those types of things, and I haven't got a chance to build it yet. But we'll get to that soon. And the next thing is oxygen sensors. Make sure they're working like they're supposed to. Make sure you use that little test. Stick the pipe in the back of the, your shop vac into the exhaust system. Use spray bottle. Start looking for little small pinhole leaks that you can't see and you can't hear. Now, if they're big enough, you hear them. But if they're not, you're not going to hear them, and you're just going to let it go, and you're going to put a converter on it, and you're going to have a problem coming back because of what? Reverse exhaust leak. So that's something that's really a kind of a new terminology to me. Not really new. I've been hearing it for the last couple of years, so I haven't run into it yet, but I'm pretty sure I will. So that's the reason I'm trying to up my game, do a little bit different things, and that way I'll always have a happy customer that comes in and spends money with me. And the bottom line is that you keep them, your customers are family based, as I call it, because literally, if you come in once with me, you're a customer. You come in twice in your family. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. And I appreciate all you guys out there. Also use thermal imaging guns. If you have them in your arsenal, use them. If you have a lab scope, use them. Just start addressing your tools and knock the cobwebs off of them and start using them a little better. All right, until then, join us at shoptalk.com, where you can tell your friends to come in. They have to answer the Q&A questions. If they like what they see and like what they get into, I'd be more than happy to let them in, but they have to answer the questions. Do not pass a link on unless it's chanceshoptalk.com, CHENCTALKSHOP. No E. I don't have an E in my name. And then we'll get them in, and hopefully everybody can get together and enjoy our site as much as possible. Take care. And until then, we are ending this broadcast today with a big hi-oo. Take care. Having trouble disconnecting. That's funny. It says don't want to disconnect. I guess it wants me to keep talking.